All right, welcome everybody to your first session, your first live lecture for Psychology of Play. I hope you guys are excited. My name's Ann Ovison. I'm going to introduce myself and tell you a little bit about me and some of the other instructors in our class. So some of you may have a different instructor listed on your section on the FSO platform, which is fine. I've got Elena's students, I've got Laura's students, I have Katie's students, and I have Steven's students in here. So if you see any of those instructors' names in your section on FSO, rest assured you're still in the right spot, okay? We sort of team teach our sessions. So you might see me and you might see some of the other instructors this month, okay? But you're all getting the same content for Psychology of Play, all right? It's just such a large class and we have so many sections of this class that we sort of have to put all of you together in these sessions, okay? But anyway, welcome to Psychology of Play. I'm going to go over the class today, give you a good introduction to what we are learning and what you guys are going to be doing this month. I'm leaving the chat box open, so feel free to ask questions in the chat box and I'll try to answer them out loud in the session, okay? Just something to note, I do give you guys the option to unmute yourselves during the session, just because I'll ask questions and I kind of want it to have that class discussion feel. But what I do ask is that when I'm talking or when somebody else is talking, just be sure you're muted, just so you're not talking over each other. And that way everybody can hear what's going on, okay? But by all means, feel free to ask questions. And like I said, I will be paying attention to the chat box as we go through the session. Okay. So just a little heads up. Our sessions are held every Tuesday from 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern time. So obviously you guys are here, so you know you're in the right time zone. So we don't change times from week to week. They're all at the same time zone. We do record the sessions. So just because we know that sometimes students can't make the live sessions and that's fine. So we record them and then we share the recordings back in the live lecture activity. So you guys can always go to that activity on the platform, click on the link and watch the recording anytime you need to, okay? It's not mandatory that you attend these sessions. Obviously we encourage you to, just because we go over a lot of the lecture, a lot of the class material each week. We go over the assignments. And it gives you guys a chance to interact with each other, which I think is pretty important in an online class. Okay, so I'm your host for week 1, right? My name's Ann. And then week 2, you guys will see Katie Bonafilia. Week 3, you guys will see Laura Harless. And week 4, you'll see Stephen Huber. And some of us may dip into each other's sessions. It just kind of depends. So our agenda for today, like I said, I'm going to go over the class, go over the layout of the class, show you everything on the platform so you get familiar with that, talk about some of the assignments and activities, do a little icebreaker so we can get to know each other, and then we'll start delving into the course material, okay? Because I know this is a new experience for all of you. You've probably never taken a class on the Psychology of Play before, so it's a pretty neat class though. Again, my name's Ann Ovison. Just a little bit about my background. I have 2 master's degrees and a bachelor in psychology. I went to Auburn University. Yay, go Tigers. I have experience in teaching as well as conducting counseling and therapy with clients. So before I was a teacher, I did therapy sessions with children, adolescents, adults, families, and couples, which was a lot of fun. And some of that included play therapy with children. Which is always fun. So to me, this class is sort of a good way to sort of bridge those 2 things together, right? Psychology and play. I do have 2 kids, ages 10 and 13, which I think is good for this class in that kids are kind of natural experts at play. So sometimes, depending on what topic we're discussing, I might share an example related to my kids just because they are the play experts, right? Our favorite play activity is a family. We live in Orlando, so a lot of it is, we love to go to the theme parks, we go to the beaches, we spend a lot of time outdoors. It's, I want to say 60 degrees here today, and for Floridians, that's cold. I know it's freezing in other parts of the country. But for us, it's a little cool today. But that being said, we love spending time outdoors. But pretty much I do whatever my kids want to do for play because, you know, it's all about, you know, whatever they want to do, right? Oh my, Trevor, that's cold. 27 degrees. Whew. My brother lives in Maryland, and he posted pictures of the snow up there. And I will say it's gorgeous. When you see that first snowfall, it's very pretty. All right. Oh, and here's just a picture of my family. This was taken a few years ago, so my kids are a bit older than they are there now. But we're like I said, we like to have fun together. You know, we're a family that plays together, right? I'm a firm believer in that. So although they're getting to the age where a lot of their play involves, you know, screens, right? Like video games and all that kind of stuff. So I try to help them balance that with interacting with the family, right? You know, don't just stay looking at your screen 24/7, right? You know. So anyway, that's us. But you don't want to know all of that about me. I want to hear about you guys. If you want to, feel free to share a little about yourself. You don't have to, it's totally up to you. You are welcome to share a little bit, maybe tell us where you're from, what you're studying, any other fun fact. You can share in the chat box if you want. Oh my, Madeline, it's 7 degrees in Maine. Woo, that's chilly. I do want to visit Maine one day though. So, all right, Michael, go ahead. I see you had your hand raised.
Hi, I'm sorry. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I just want to do it early because like I just woke up. I'm sorry. It's like 10 a.m. for me. But nice to meet you all. My name is Michael. I'm from California. I'm a digital cinematographer, and I'm actually like really looking forward to this class because I'm actually working on a series as well. So it's kind of just like good to get like another like concept of what I should be doing, what I should be looking for. Fun fact about me. I do work at a gym right now. I work at 24-hour fitness. We close at like 12 o'clock. So it's kind of like when I have class like 10 o'clock too, like I gotta like set my alarm at like 9 and then like I snooze for like 30 more minutes and then I get back up. I mean, hopefully I can fix that. So I mean, yeah.
All right. Well, Michael, believe it or not, we will actually talk about sleep schedules at some point during the month. So
Perfect.
you're in the right place. Well, thank you. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
I'm just going to go down the list here of who has their hands raised. Let's see. Kyle Smith.
Yeah, hi, how's everybody doing?
Hi,
my name is
Kyle.
Kyle. I am from Detroit, Michigan, and I am attending Full Sail, pursuing my degree for a Bachelor in Game Arts. Fun fact about me, I recently just got out of the Army. I was in the Army for 8 years, and I was in law enforcement when I was in the Army. So transitioning from, law enforcement to a more creative field has been a little bit harrowing for me, but I'm looking forward to it. It's exciting. Things I like to do for fun. I have 3 kids and a beautiful wife. Just love spending time with them, or stay up late at night, play video games by myself, go snowboarding, go to workout, go to the gym. Yeah, that's really all there is to it.
Okay, that sounds awesome. Thank you, Kyle. It's nice to meet you.
Yep.
All right.
Nice to meet you.
Miss Jasmine, you are next on the list.
Hey everyone, my name is Jasmine. I'm from Florida, Jacksonville to be precise. I'm currently in music production. Right now I work in the banking field at Bank of America. So it's really easy to go to school full time and work full time because it's online. So it's pretty good for that. I'm actually working, side note from music production, I'm actually working on a class, or sort of like a school, in a sense of getting everybody to thrive in the matrix. So it's part of a project that I'm doing. So it's really cool to be working with everyone in here, because just be networking around is part of the goal.
Awesome. Thank you, Jasmine. Glad to have you with us. All right, Madeline. I see your hand is up.
Hi, everyone. My name is Madeline, but I go by Maddie most of the time. I'm from Durham, Maine. I live in Durham right now, but I'm actually going to be moving to Winter Park, Florida in 4 months and going to be starting in-person classes in around May. I'm studying music production, and I just started like kind of my own like Instagram artist page, and like I have a SoundCloud and I work on BandLab and stuff like that. And right now I'm an Instacart shopper. I don't really have like a full-time job right now because I'm just focusing on school and music at the moment. But yeah.
Gotcha. Awesome. Thank you, Madeline. All right, Jose, you're next.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. My name is Jose. I'm in the Orlando area. Right now, I'm actually a veteran from the U.S. Army, did 4 years as a paratrooper, got out in Korea, and I've completed 15 years of federal service, transitioning right now from law enforcement to complete my digital cinematography degree. And for fun, basically, I like to ride my motorcycle. I'm in a motorcycle club,
Okay.
fly drones, and things of that nature.
Very cool. Awesome. Thank you, Jose, and thank you for your service. All right, we'll do a couple more. Anthony, Mr. Anthony.
Yes, well, I'm Anthony. I'm actually originally from Southern California. Didn't like it because of gun laws. Moved out to a small town out of Tennessee. I love playing video games. I'm actually going for the game artist, and I'm actually going to try and go for the master's in game design as well. If you don't find me out shooting guns, you probably will find my daughter out shooting guns at 8 years old. We're always outdoors fishing, hunting, and if we're not outdoors and the weather looks like it is right now, we're usually indoors playing video games together. So it's a little bit about me.
Awesome. Thank you, Anthony. All right, Trevor, I see your hand is next.
Hi. Everybody hear me? Yeah.
We can.
Awesome. So I've actually done a complete 180 from my original career path. I was a signals intelligence analyst for the Army, but contracting isn't too fun at the moment. So yeah, I'm currently a computer animation student, and I'm posted up at Fort Bliss right now. So
Awesome. Very nice. We have a lot of veterans in the class. I appreciate your service. Thank you. All right, we'll do one more. Our next person on the list, I wish we could get to everyone, but there's just so many of you. Emmanuel?
I'm Emmanuel. I'm from Central Illinois, from a small town called Arcola. Fun fact is that my family was like the first of 6 Mexican people to move there or something like that in the 60s. And my mom grew up around there. So I don't know, like it's been all right. I'm studying audio production. I thought there's a lot of like YouTubers around here that like really don't know what they want to do. So I thought like doing audio stuff would be like helping them too, and I could get my name out there or something. Fun fact, I do yoga like every day. I do used to run like a month ago. I was running every day, but it's gotten really cold. Like it was weird though, because Christmas, it was really hot in Illinois. It was like 60 degrees over here in Christmas. So it was different. But my son just left yesterday, and so I just started back up like doing school again here like since yesterday too. So
Okay. Wow, Emmanuel, well, that's awesome. I'm impressed that you do yoga every day, by the way. I think that's fantastic. Well, I appreciate so many of you sharing, and I know a lot of you have shared in the chat as well what you're studying and where you're from. I think one of the things I really love about this class and the first class, creative presentation, some of you may have already taken that course. That's usually either your first or second class here at Full Sail. But I think it's wonderful that it sort of combines people from students in different programs. Obviously, as you move further along here at Full Sail, and your classes get more specialized, and then you're pretty much just taking classes solely related to your degree program. Whereas in these beginning core classes, you're kind of in a class with people from other programs. And so to me, it's just a great way to get to know each other and get to know students in other programs and, you know, make connections, start networking and making friends. So wherever you're from, welcome and glad to have you guys with us today. I think that, I mean, it just sounds like all of you have already accomplished so much in your life. So that's phenomenal. And I know a lot of you are coming back to school after having been out of school for a while, you know, in other careers or in the service. So just hats off to you for, you know, making that commitment to come back to school, because I know it's not easy. So I think that's fantastic. All right, my friends. So we're going to do a quick icebreaker activity. I'm going to put this link into the chat here. We're going to do an online bingo game. So what I've done is I've put, if you can go into the, oh, it didn't copy the link. Hang on, let me copy this link real quick. I've put a little bingo card in there for you guys. Oops. All right, hang on. Let me go back to my slides here. If you type in the link, oh geez. All right, hang on, let me pull up the card. Let me pull up my slides again. I just lost my slides. Okay, there we go. This is what I wanted. Okay. Well, it's not copying it as a link. I hate that you guys are going to have to type this in. I don't want you to have to type that in. So let me see if I can get this to go in as a link. No, it's not going in as a link. Okay. Well, unfortunately, I think you're going to have to type this in if you want to play the bingo game. But what it does is you can probably copy and paste it from the chat. But what this does is it pops up a unique bingo card for you. Once the screen pops up, you're just going to click a button. It generates your own bingo card. And then once everybody has a bingo card on your screen, I'm going to call out the different squares. And then if you have that square anywhere on your bingo card, then you're just going to put a little, you just click your mouse or your tracker right over the square, click it, and it'll put a little X on it for you, okay? And then the way we play bingo is if you get all of the squares across, down, or diagonal, you yell out bingo, and then you win, right? So the square in the middle, right, is your free square, okay? All right, has everybody been able to get a little bingo card? Pop up?
Yeah, so are we just filling in a blank with what we have? Or what,
what it does when you open this up, it will, when you type in this link, it should give you a unique bingo card.
Mine's just blank.
Yours is blank. Okay, let me go to the website here. Hang on, let me go to the website and see.
Same here. Mine's just popping up images of the bingo card.
Okay, all right, hang on.
I'm also having the same issue.
Okay, try this link. I just posted a new link.
You should, can I speak?
Yes.
Are you typing it in the search bar? If you're typing it in the search bar, it'll pop up as if you're searching the images instead of the actual link. You gotta click on the URL and paste it into the URL.
Yeah.
Try that first.
Yeah, I just,
That's what happened to me.
I just copied and pasted.
Thank you, appreciate you.
Yeah,
I just copy and pasted a new link, and that one should work. So I just copy and pasted a new link in there. Does everybody have a bingo card pop up?
No, I'm still working on mine.
Yeah.
Got mine.
Julian's got it. Bradley's got it. Matthew's got it. Okay. Yeah. The last link I just posted should work and should take you.
I got it.
You got it? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm good now. Thank you.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm good. What y'all bingo card look like? Is it because it's giving me like 6 different images. I click any one of them random ones.
Yeah, what it does is it generates a new card. So if you keep clicking the button, it'll keep generating a new card. So once you have the card up, just go ahead and leave it up. Because if you keep generating a new card, it'll erase whatever I've called so far. So once you have the
So
card
everyone's
up,
gonna be different, pretty much.
I still think mine's wrong because mine's doing what the lady said. I copied it in my URL, but it's searching on Google.
yeah, go ahead and
Bingo. Sorry.
I copied and pasted a clickable link up there. So go ahead and click on that and it should pop a card up for you.
Okay. Sorry about that.
That's okay. Yeah, if you scroll up a little bit, you'll see the last link I posted.
I got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. We'll wait just a second in case anybody's still waiting.
My
Are you
card keeps showing random X's on it. Like it just keeps popping up random X's every time.
Yeah, you'll wait till I call out a card, a square, and then if you have anywhere you have that square on your card, you'll put an X over it, okay?
Okay, well, it keeps like showing someone else is doing it as it's like going through.
Okay, let's do a practice one. We'll do a practice square, okay? Just to be sure everybody's working. Okay, if you have a square on your bingo card that says loves Star Wars, and this describes you, go ahead and click that square to put an X on it. If you love Star Wars.
I think we're like sharing bingo cards or something with other people because I have X's popping all over my screen and popping off and popping on.
Mine keeps doing the same thing.
Okay, all right, guys. Okay,
Can you guys hear me?
I feel like those X's just indicates like that's what it's supposed to look like when you click on something.
Can anyone hear me?
We can hear you, yes.
Okay.
I'm not sure what's going
on the
with
website, at least on mobile, in the bottom right corner, there's a button there. If you press it and you click new, it'll generate a empty card with like randomly generated selections, and it'll start the local version. I think the screen everyone is on, it's just picking random ones to show which kind of like selections you have on the card.
Yeah, try the, hang on, let me get back into, if this doesn't work, it doesn't work, but I just shared a new link in the chat. If you guys can click on the new link, you should see a button that says, click the button below to generate your own unique bingo card. Do you guys see that where it says generate card?
Yeah, now I see it.
Okay, yeah, if it says generate card, you're gonna click on the button that says generate card and that'll pull up your own unique bingo card. In that one, you should be able to click squares on it to check off without checking off anybody else's squares. Okay.
Okay.
So the one I just shared in the chat, if you should see a little box that says click the button below to generate your own unique bingo card and it should generate it for you. Okay. And that will be your own unique card.
So are we restarting?
Yes, there's a new link in the chat that I just posted, and you should see a box that says PYP icebreaker. Click the button below to generate your own unique bingo card. I'm working from a laptop, so I don't know if you're working from a mobile device, it might look different, but okay.
Oh, and this is inedible.
Okay, if you got it pulled up?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Sorry, yelling at my brother.
Okay, so once everybody has has generated their own unique bingo card, I'm going to start calling out squares. And then if you have, wherever you have that square listed on your card, just click it with your mouse or your tracker, and it'll put a little X on it. And then once you have all the squares in a row, up or down or diagonal, filled in, then you'll yell out bingo, okay? And then the square in the middle, remember.
Does it have to describe you?
Yes, yeah, this is an icebreaker bingo, so it's going to describe you, right? So for example, if you love Star Wars and I call out that square, you would click that one.
Okay.
All right, we ready?
Ready.
All right, let's do this. All right, first square is going to be if you have a job. If you have a job, and you have that box on your card, you're gonna click the have a job box. All right, if we check that one off.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. Next one is gonna be if you like video games. So likes video games. If that describes you, you wanna check that box off. Marcus, did you have a question? I see your hand is raised.
Oh no, that's when I first came in to introduce myself, but I had started the class today. I'm okay.
Okay, gotcha. All right, sounds good, Marcus. All right, likes video games. All right, next square. Huh?
Who doesn't?
Who doesn't? I know. All right, if you have a favorite cartoon, you're going to check that box off. A favorite cartoon. I would imagine a lot of people have a favorite cartoon, but maybe you don't. I don't know.
Mine's Doug.
All right, next square. You love to write. If loves to write describes you, you're going to check that box off. Some of us like to write poetry, songs, stories. Loves to write. Okay, next square. If you're in a band, so is in a band, if this describes you, you're in a band, you can check that box off.
Yeah, we're doing some weird bingo thing. We're doing this weird bingo thing.
All right, in a band. Okay, next square. If you enjoy math, right? Some of us love math. If you enjoy math and that describes you, you're going to check that box off.
Enjoy math. Enjoy math. Where is it? Because I definitely do.
You enjoy math? All right, then you should check that box off. All right, next square. If you have a favorite sitcom, like a TV show that you really like, if you have a favorite sitcom, you're going to check that box off. Okay, we should be getting maybe a couple of bingos here soon. All right, next box. If you've been skiing, you want to check that off. If you've been skiing, snow skiing or water skiing. If you've been skiing, either one, check that box off. And remember, once you get a row across, down, or diagonal, you can yell out bingo. All right, next
Quick
square.
question. Is the red tile in the center just a free tile that we can check off?
That is a free tile, yes. So that's a free space, so that would be included.
Okay.
All right, next square, have a favorite board game. If you have a favorite board game, you can check that one off. All right, next square, and I know this one definitely describes me. If you built forts as a child, you can check that one off.
Definitely.
Bingo.
Bingo. All right, we got our first bingo. Who said bingo?
Justin.
All right, Justin, tell us which squares you've checked off. And
Enjoys math, have a favorite cartoon, loves to write, have a job, and built sports as a child.
all right, awesome. What's your favorite cartoon?
SpongeBob.
SpongeBob. Awesome. And you love to write. Do you write poetry, stories, songs, all of the above?
I write music.
Okay. Very good. Well, that definitely counts. And what's your favorite board game?
My favorite board game, Monopoly.
Sounds good. Sounds good. We like Monopoly too as well. All right. Well, congratulations, Justin. Yay, you won bingo. And I appreciate you sharing a little bit more about yourself.
You're welcome.
All right. So I'm going to get back over to our slideshow here.
Professor.
So, yes.
Fortnite has got his own game, Monopoly game.
Who does?
I mean, Fortnite.
Oh, Fortnite Monopoly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't make any money off of it, but you get hit points. So
yeah. What's interesting is I remember, because I played Monopoly when I was younger, and I'm pretty old. So when I played Monopoly, we only had the original Monopoly. Now they've got all these different versions of Monopoly. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys for participating. I appreciate it. So hopefully this was kind of a fun little activity. All right. So we're going to move now into talking about the class. And I'm going to go over the layout of the class, some of the assignments and all of that. So if you can, go ahead and mute yourselves just so you can hear me talking. And if you do have a question, feel free to raise your hand and I will be more than happy to answer your question out loud in the session, okay? All right. Oh, wow, Megan did her own D&D Monopoly. That's very cool. That sounds awesome. You have to share that with us, right? Okay, so now we're going to, I'm going to hop over to the platform and show you what that looks like. Some of you may have already logged into the class just to take a look at everything, in which case, hopefully, that kind of helped familiarize you a little bit with what the platform looks like. All right, so let me go ahead and share that. Okay, so right now you guys should be looking at our class on the FSO platform. So this is what it looks like when you log in. And if you've taken creative presentation as your first class, this looks familiar to you. Every single class you have at Full Sail is on the FSO platform, all right, our LMS. So all of your classes are going to sort of look like this. Obviously, your assignments and projects and things like that are going to look different, but every class is going to have the same layout where everything's set up by weeks. Okay, so instead of modules, we have weeks. So as you know, every class here at Full Sail is a month long. So each week you'll have assignments due, right? So there's 4, you see all 4 weeks represented here. So I'm just going to start with the Getting Started tab. So when you click on this, it gives you 4 different links to click on, 4 different pages. The first page, Meet Your Instructor, that's just going to have a short video and a brief little bio on your specific instructor. On mine, for example, here's my video. And then I also have my contact information listed there as well. So you can find all of that about your instructor under that tab. So the next, oh, Juan. Yes, Juan, I'm sharing my screen. Can you see it? You should be able to see it.
No, I can't.
Okay.
I'm gonna go out and then come back in.
Okay. All right. Are you on a computer or a mobile device?
Computer. Yeah. I think something might have happened when we were doing the bingo thing, and for some reason I'm on the Zoom Full Sail, the Zoom screen where it says launch meeting with that big blue button. But
okay. You may look. Okay, if you have a little Zoom icon, you might need to pull back up the screen.
Oh, okay, got it. Thank you. Sorry.
Okay, do you see where it says?
Yeah, I see you now.
Okay, all right. So yeah, it should say Getting Started.
Yes,
All right,
ma'am.
awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, sometimes depending on if you click out into another window, it'll take you away from this. Okay, good to know. All right, so meet your instructor, psychology of play roadmap. That basically just takes you through a very brief overview of the class and the topics that we cover each week. So there's nothing you need to complete for this. It's just simply there for you to kind of review, kind of give you a heads up what we're going to be covering. Troubleshooting and resources tab. That's very important because a lot of times, since this is an online class and you all are submitting your assignments via the platform, you might run into technical issues. So if that happens, this tells you exactly what you need to do. It gives you tips. There's a technical support fact card here. I always like to point this out because Full Sail has a great tech support team. They're pretty much available 24/7. So anytime a student is having trouble uploading something, I always encourage them to, you can reach out to me first. And if we can't solve it, then reach out to the Full Sail tech support team. Because what they can do is they can work with you over the phone and help you troubleshoot. Okay. All right. Click out of that. Oops. Okay. Move this down a little bit. Sorry about that. Okay. Well, I think I lost our class. I have to pull you back up. I lost my friends. Okay, there we go. Now we're back under getting started. Professionalism tab. Please do click that. As you know, 10% of your all of your classes here at Full Sail, you get a GPS grade, a professionalism grade. So sometimes the requirements vary from class to class, but you always want to come and read the professionalism tab for your classes because it will spell out exactly what you get deducted points for. So for the purposes of psychology of play, our class, the only thing we deduct points for outside of complying with, the guidelines itself, we deduct for missed assignments. So if you don't submit either of the 2 assignments that are due each week, that's a 5-point deduction off professionalism. Okay. But if you submit everything, if you submit all of your assignments for psychology of play, that's an easy 100 for this grade. So, definitely make a point to try to submit what you can. Get rid of these other, I pulled up some articles to show some students. But yeah, definitely, if you are, what I usually tell students, if you're ever going to be late submitting an assignment, I know I logged out of our platform again, hang on. If you're ever going to be late submitting assignments, I always encourage students to reach out to your instructor and let them know, say, hey, I'm going to be late submitting this, and they can work with you, okay? What you don't want to do is, let me go back to, great, I lost our slide, I lost our internet, hang on. Hold on, I don't know where everything went. There it is. Why isn't that showing? All right, hang on, I'm gonna have to try this again. I don't know why I can't get our internet pulled back up. There, it disappeared. Okay, now we're back. I encourage students, again, if you are going to be late with an assignment, or if, let's say you have an illness or something like that, just reach out to your instructor and let them know, and they can work with you, okay? The way that the class is structured, all of your assignments are open to you now. Week 1, week 2, week 3, and week 4, all 4 weeks are open to you. So you can work on all 4 weeks if you want to, but just be aware that week 1 closes this Sunday, okay? Week 2 closes the following Sunday. What you want to do is be sure that each week you're submitting your work, okay? Because the way the weeks are laid out, all 4 weeks are open, but then they close as the week draws to a close, if that makes sense. So you have access to week 1 until this Sunday. Okay, after Sunday, week 1 closes and you can't submit your work for that anymore. And then we go into week 2. So it's really important that you do try to stay on track each week with submitting your assignments. Okay, if for some reason, again, you're not going to be able to submit something, or Sunday rolls around and you've had an emergency or you're sick, please, again, reach out to your instructor and let them know, okay? Does that make sense? That all 4 weeks are open now, but you need to be sure that when Sunday rolls around, you've completed all your work for week 1, because week 2 opens on Monday, and then we go into week 2, okay? I think somebody unmuted themselves. Yeah, be sure you're muted. Thank you. Okay, can you please make sure you're muted? Sorry about that. I'm going to answer. Chris has asked a question in the chat, and I'm going to answer. He says, why are all 4 weeks open? That's just something they decided to do with the class, because sometimes students will work ahead and they'll want access to week 2, even though we're still in week 1. And that gives those students a chance to work ahead if they want, right? Does that make sense? So normally, the way the class is structured, you have enough work in week 1 to keep you busy for just week 1, but there are some students who really like to work ahead, or maybe they know they've got something going on in week 2 and they need to get a head start on week 2. And so they just, that's just how they've decided to structure the class, by leaving all 4 weeks open for you, okay? All right, so we talked about the Getting Started tab. I showed you that, everything you need in there. So now we're going to move into week 1, which is the week we're in right now. So the way that the weeks are set up, really, we set them up in the order that you should do the activities, okay? I mean, you're welcome to start with any of the week 1 activities, but the way the class is structured is that we encourage you to go through each activity as it's laid out. Just because that's really the easiest thing to do. Hi there, don't worry about being late. I'm recording the session if you want to go back and watch later, okay? Same thing if somebody needs to leave early today, that's perfectly fine. We're here till 3, obviously. It's a 2-hour session, but if you need to leave early, you can always duck out and then come back and watch the recording later, because I'm recording the session right now. Okay? All right, so the first thing on the open office hour here, every Wednesday we have an open office hour from 1 to 2 on Zoom. If that's something you're interested in attending, like let's say you have a question and you want it answered right there on the spot. During these open office hours on Zoom, there's an instructor there to answer your question, okay? And you can pop in any time on Wednesday from 1 to 2 if you're available. And you have a question, and you can talk with an instructor during that session, okay? So that's offered every Wednesday. It's not mandatory that you attend the office hours, okay? It's just an option for you. Live lecture, that's what we're in right now. So again, we have those every Tuesday from 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern time. You click right here in the link to register for the session. After the session is recorded, we always post the link right back in the session so you guys can come back and watch it anytime, okay? And again, it's not mandatory that students attend the live lectures each week, but we highly encourage it, right? All right, so the next thing is the call to play. That's your first activity of the week, okay? So this is just a short question and answer survey that's due every Tuesday, okay? And I'll explain what that is. You're going to have 2 assignments every week. You're going to have the call to play, and then your discussion assignment. That's your discussion board assignment, where you guys are posting on a discussion board and replying to each other, okay? And in between here, you see where it says reading 1 and reading 2. Those are your readings for this week, okay? We set them all up online. You don't have to get a textbook or go anywhere outside of the platform to read. All of the class material is housed here in these readings, okay? So each week you'll have 2 to 3 readings like you do here. And this is what's going to help you complete your assignment each week, okay? All right, so let me click on the call to play so you guys can see what it looks like. Like I said, this is a short question and answer survey that's due every Tuesday, right? So every Tuesday, you'll have a different set of questions to answer. And as soon as it pulls up here, there's a bit of a lag here, but I'll show you what the questions look like. Or maybe I won't. But if you've already clicked on this, you sort of know what the questions look like. here. And the reason we have this due on Tuesday is because for the call to play assignment, there's nothing you need to have read ahead of time in order to answer the questions. It's simply sort of a survey, if you will. All right, I'm having trouble getting that to pull up. So let me go back into, I'm having trouble getting a lot of things to pull up. Okay, let me see if I can get back into it. Okay, so I'm clicking on the call to play. So this is what it looks like when you pull it up. It's laid out in a question and answer format, like I said. So when you open up your call to play, you're going to see questions and then a text box. So for each question, you're going to click on the text box and type in your response to that question, okay? For example, question 2 says, what do you hope to improve or enhance in relation to play in our creativity over the next week? Question 3 asks, one thing we all love about Full Sail students is your passion. What excites you about your future industry? What is something you're excited about doing or learning more about in your degree program or industry? And then you'll click and put your answer. Question 4 basically asks what you enjoy doing for play during the week, right? Since this is a class about play. So as you can see, there's nothing you need to have read ahead of time in order to answer the questions. It's simply your own opinions, right? Your own thoughts in these responses, okay? And what you're going to do is you're going to answer each question in the call to play, and then at the bottom, you're going to see a submit button. I don't have one here, but you'll see a submit button, and then you'll submit your responses, okay? It's sort of laid out like a test, so I don't know why, but they put in here, this is not a test. It's obviously not a test. It's just a question and answer response that you guys are going to fill out. So Javier is asking, what do you mean by play? So for example, in question 4, it might be, you know, what you enjoy doing in your spare time outside of work or school. So maybe you enjoy playing video games. Maybe you like to create music. Maybe you like to write stories. Maybe you play basketball. All of those are different ways that we play. So that might be something you could include there. Okay, yeah, something you love to do, something that you do outside of work or school that is fun for you. Like I said, it could be video games, it could be making music, it could be drawing, it could be art, it could be anything you do for play, right? And sort of as we go through the session, you know, we'll talk about all the different ways we play. And it's different for everybody, right? Some of us do like video games, some of us don't, that kind of stuff. So again, the questions are very personal. So we just want you to put, you know, some thought into these questions and, you know, be honest. Tell us what you enjoy doing for play. And we do ask for, you know, 2 to 3 sentences, right? For the call to play, because again, that helps as instructors, it helps us get to know you better. And I know for me, it helps me learn really what my students' interests are. And then I can actually share things that are related to your interests throughout the month. So if I have a student who's really into, I don't know, a certain genre of music, I might share, you know, neat things I find, like articles or something related to that. So it helps us get to know you better, basically, right? Okay, so that's the call to play. So that assignment is due every Tuesday, and each week the questions change. But again, today's Tuesday, right? So this would be due the end of today. You can go in Monday morning each week and fill out the call to play, because it's just sort of based again on your own thoughts and your own responses, no preparation needed ahead of time. Okay.
Hey, I got a quick question on that section.
Yes, ask away.
I guess I am one of those students who work ahead. I actually did most of this yesterday, but I didn't do the part 2, that quest. I didn't understand it. Would you be able to go a little bit more detail on that, please?
Yeah, on the 2 quests that are due.
Yes, I did the questionnaire where it was like, what's your name? What are you wanting out of Full Sail? What excites you? All that. I answered all those, but when it came to part 2 of that quest, sorry, I'm on my way home.
That's okay.
I didn't understand that. I legit even reached out to a student who's in this class who we became friends from helping him on last class. He's like, I don't understand it either.
Okay, gotcha. I'm going to explain that in just a minute. Yeah, because that's related to the 1.5 discussion assignment. So I'm going to explain all of that, and then I'm going to show examples for what you're going to be working on this week for that assignment. Okay.
I also have a question.
Yes.
Would it be possible for my teacher to reset my call to play assignment?
Did you accidentally submit it without?
No, I answered the questions, but I answered them in one sentence, and you say I would like 1 to 2 sentences. I mean, 2 to 3 sentences. So that's all.
Yeah, they can't reset it, but I reach out to your instructor. I mean, I'm sure what you submitted was probably fine, but you can always reach out and double check with them and say, hey, I already submitted it. Is that fine? And if not, sometimes students will accidentally hit submit before they finish answering all the questions. And what the instructor has to do then is just reopen it, which is fine, which they can do. But yeah, I would just touch base with your instructor and let them know. Good questions.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So again, call to play is due every Tuesday. And if I go down to week 2, you can see there's a week 2 call to play, and it's a different set of questions. Okay, so just make sure you're turning that in by Tuesday each week. So next up are your readings for the class. And again, these are laid out on the platform in the order that you should read them. I will say this, these readings are not super long, okay? We know you guys lead busy lives, and I will say this, I feel like the readings are fairly easy to get through, but it is important that you do these readings before you attempt the 1.5 assignment, okay? So we just ask that you complete these before you get started on this, because the 1.5 assignment is where you're gonna sort of apply what you read. So it's important to have done that ahead of time, okay? All right, so we talked about call to play. So the other thing in the call to play, and I'm going to talk about that right now. If you go to the bottom part 2, it asks you about the 2 quests you want to choose. So for the 1.5 assignment, the one that's due later in the week, you have to choose 2 quests from this list to complete. Okay, and I'm going to go over these quests so you know exactly what to expect. Okay, because I know this is a very new assignment for you guys, and you've never done quests like this before, and you're probably wondering, what the heck is this lady talking about, right? All right, so let's talk about those 2 quests. GT, did you have a question? I see your hand is raised before I jump into this.
Yes, ma'am. I was just wondering, so I can actually submit those questions before I start the quest, because I didn't know. I mean, I just didn't want to hit submit, because I've done the questions yesterday, but I didn't know if I needed to wait to do the quests and then submit it all together, or are there individual links for that?
No, so for the call to play, the way it's set up is we ask you which quests you want to complete. And you can just pick 2. If you change your mind later in the week, that's fine, but you do not have to submit the 2 quests with the call to play. You're just telling us which ones you're interested in the call to play. Okay. The 1.5 assignment, the one I'm talking about right now, is the one where you're at, where you will actually submit the 2 quests you chose. Okay, if that makes sense. So
thank you.
When I open, you're welcome. So when I open up the 1.5 assignment, this is your major assignment for the week in the class. And this is why it's due a little bit later in the week, because we want to give you guys time to work on this. It's a discussion board assignment. So you are going to answer all of these questions and complete your 2 quests, and then you're going to actually submit them onto the discussion board. So for example, here is my discussion board submission. And then answers to all the highlighted questions are going to be here, plus my 2 quests. Boom. And then I will hit post. So let's go back up and really take a look at what we're submitting here. Okay, so for the discussion board assignment, there's a series of questions you have to answer. I've highlighted mine in yellow just to help students really remember which ones they need to answer. So for question 1, it says complete the weekly readings, and then you're going to visit this link to choose your 2 quests. You have to select 2 of the creative quests, complete those, and then submit those with your answers to these questions. Okay, all on the discussion board. And I'll show you in a minute what I'm talking about. Okay. So when you click on the quest link, it pulls up a purple chart that lists all the quests for that week. So the way our class is structured, each week you will have different quests to choose from. All right, these are just the ones for this week. Week 2, you'll have a different set of creative quests. Okay. So the ones for week 1, you will have 4 to choose from. You only need to pick 2. All right, you only need to pick 2 of these to choose. All right, quest 1, if you choose this one, this quest asks you to create a workspace or creative space in your living environment, and then you're going to share a before and after picture with us. All right, you're going to share a before and after picture of your redesigned or transformed or brand new workspace. All right, it can be a desk, it can be a studio. We offered, this is a choice because a lot of students might not have a dedicated workspace or creative space where they are, and maybe they're doing work from their bed or a kitchen table, and maybe they want to have an inspiring workspace for themselves. So this quest choice gives you the option to create that for yourself. And what you will submit is just a before and after picture, right? And you'll go back to the discussion board, right? The one I just showed you, and you're just going to submit your 2 photos for that, okay? Elizabeth is asking, is a response required for question 1? No. Your question 1 is just you completing the quests. Good question. Quest 2 is to create a weekly plan for yourself. I'm going to go back to the discussion board for a minute. If you choose quest 2, the weekly plan, you need to use this little template here where it says weekly plan. If I open that up, it's going to pull up this. So if you choose quest 2, the weekly plan, this is what you're going to fill out for the week. You're going to fill out your weekly plan for the week. You're going to put activities in the work category, the play category, the fit wellness category, the push category, and then there's some questions for you to answer at the bottom about whether you're an early bird or a night owl, that kind of stuff. And let me sort of explain what the weekly plan does. The idea is that we are asking you to select activities in each of these 4 areas. So work daily priority category, anything you do for work, it can be school assignments, it can be things, priorities that have to get done that week for you. You want to put those in that category. Emily's asking, can you do more than 2 quests? Sure. I've had students do that before. They chose more than 2 to do. That's fine. Play category, put down what you do for play during the week. Maybe you have something exciting that you're looking forward to. Maybe you're going to a park or an amusement center with your family. That could be included in play. Video games, anything you do for play, you're going to put here. Fit wellness, anything you do in this category that you want to plan out for the week, you're going to include there. It could be yoga, it could be meditation, it can be physical fitness, it can be working out, going to the gym. So I try to encourage students to, if they're going to do this, to at least put some type of physical activity in if they can, whether it's just walking or like I said, yoga. But mental fitness is acceptable as well, right? Meditation, things like that, because that's all part of fit wellness. And then the push category, the one that Jasmine was asking about, the idea behind this category is this is the area where you're going to push yourself out of your comfort zone. Okay, you're going to push yourself out of your comfort zone. You're going to choose activities that contribute to your personal or professional growth in some way. All right, so examples might be trying or learning something new. Let's say you want to learn a new language. Like, let's say I decided I wanted to learn Korean. All right, I would put that as one of my push goals, because learning Korean obviously is going to be challenging, but it's going to be fun and it's going to enhance my growth in some way. So I would put that in push. One of the things, one of my New Year's resolutions, which I know you're not supposed to make those, right? Because we all fail after like the first week. But one of my New Year's resolutions is to try to cook more healthy meals for myself and my family. So for my push, I would put try some healthier recipes, because that's something that I want to do this year. So any activity that contributes to your personal and professional growth, in other words, it's going to push you a little bit out of your comfort zone that you've been stuck in, could be used in push. Okay. Jasmine, did that give you a little more insight into that category? And if
Yes,
you're
it did.
okay,
Definitely
good.
clarified it. Thank you.
You are welcome. And then the final step for your plan is just to answer the questions at the bottom. Okay. There is a link to a supplemental reading called The Time Cleanse. It's a book on really how to manage your time and make the most, in other words, be more productive with your time. So each week you'll have a different chapter to read for the plan. And then you can just answer, hey, I'm a morning bird or an early bird, or I'm a night owl, right? Because all of us have different times a day that we sort of function at our best. And that's really what these questions are asking you about. Okay. All right. So again, that's the weekly plan. Let me go back to our activities here. If I go back to the quest page, I've gone over the creative space quest. I've gone over the weekly plan quest, and I have examples that I'm going to show you for each of these. For quest 2, if you choose a weekly plan, you're going to download your plan. You're going to fill it in. You can type your activities out, and then you're going to submit that. Okay. The third quest option is to choose a mentor in your field or industry. It can be somebody whose work you admire, whose work inspires you, and you're going to do a little bit of research about them, and you're going to create just a brief little short one-page synopsis or newsletter telling us what you learned about that person. Okay. And if I go back to the discussion board assignment here, here are some questions to help you get started if you choose quest 3. What did you learn about this person in your industry? What obstacles did they overcome? What's your favorite quote that they have? What are some parallels that you can find between what they did in their career and what you want to do, right? Similar, different, that kind of thing. So those are all questions you'll answer, and I'll show you examples of the mentor quests that I have. Okay, quest 4, your final choice is to create a crest of your play personalities. So one of the topics that you're going to read about this week are the 8 different play personalities. And these basically just describe sort of your play persona, right? How your play is reflected in the activities you enjoy. And I'll show you an example in a minute so you know what I'm talking about. But your creative quest for this is just going to be a little image, a digital image or hand-drawn image of a crest representing your different personalities. Okay. So I'm going to show you examples for all 4 of these quests so you can see what other students have done. One of the things we wanted to do with this assignment is we really wanted to encourage students to be creative. Joe, you can use a pre-made crest. That's certainly fine. I've had students who drew sketch tattoos of their play personalities and use that as their creative piece. But outside of what we ask for here, it's really up to you what you want to do with it. Okay. We kind of wanted to give you guys some creative freedom with these choices this week, because that's really what where play emanates from, right? Okay, so you're going to come to the link, choose your 2 quests. You're going to, and question 2, you're going to, yes, hello?
Yes, I'm sorry, I just had a question about the play personality one. So in the readings, will the readings specify what play personality you are? And I'm sorry about the baby crying in the background. That's okay. But is they going to specify the reading? Like, if in the readings, is it going to specify which one we are, or do we pretty much choose which one we think we are?
You can choose which one you think you are based on the description. Because in the readings, the way it's laid out, it tells you, it describes a play personality and then gives you a description of it. So if you feel that one describes you best, then that's fine. But it gives you a little description for each play personality. And the idea is just to sort of see which ones you feel fit best for you, right? And typically there's usually 2 or 3 that students identify with, and then they'll use those in their crest for us. So, and I'll show you an example of ones that other students have done just to sort of give you an idea of what it looks like. So after you complete your quests, I always tell students, save everything maybe in a folder on your computer or somewhere where it's easily accessible, because like, let's say you decide to do the creative space. For that one, you have to submit the 2 images, a before and after image of your workspace. So you want to, obviously have those somewhere where you can then upload them to the discussion board. Okay. Same thing for the weekly plan, your mentor quest, or your play personality quest. You want to be able to have those where you can upload them, right? All right. So question 2, on the discussion board, you're just going to include a paragraph that describes what you did for each quest. Tell us a little bit about maybe why you chose those quests and what you did for each. Question 3 is going to ask you to take the 2 quests you did and tie them back to the class readings in some way. And I've included a concept list below. These are all of the topics covered in the week 1 readings. So for example, let's say your weekly plan relates to SMART goals. The SMART goal method, which is a specific method of goal setting. You might have used that in your weekly plan. So you might talk about that, maybe how you want to apply SMART goals during the week. You might talk about your play personalities if you chose quest 4 and what those represent, how the activities you enjoy reflect these different personalities of yours. So all of that will be used in question 3, right? Because you're going to reference specific parts of the reading and specific concepts. Okay. Question 4, you're going to explain how completing both quests sparked creativity for you, right? Did you maybe use a new type of medium you haven't used before, or maybe it helped you think about your creativity in a different way? Questions 5 and 6 aren't really questions. They're just telling you what you need to do. So for number 5 here, you want to submit both quests plus your answers to these 3 questions onto the discussion board. Okay. And then for question 6 is just a reminder that part of your discussion assignment is you have to interact with your classmates on the discussion board. And you need to interact with at least 2 classmates, all right, by making a meaningful, relevant comment on their post. Okay. Justin, you can put everything in one file and then put it on the discussion board. That's perfectly fine. Like for example, I might type up my questions, put them here, and then let's see, I need to find a file. So I'm going to go to the drag and drop, and that's where I'm going to have all my quests. And then I'm going to click a specific quest, and it's going to pop it up right there. So if I did the creative space and I click post, it's going to post my creative space on there. So the drag and drop feature will let you add files from your, I just added the same one again, but let me add a different one. Let's say I want to do mentor. So I've just happened to save these 2 quests as an image, and then I'm uploading them. And then when I click post, it's going to post both my responses to my questions and then the 2 quest files I submitted. That's all going to be on the discussion board. And it's fine if you need to submit multiple items. If you can't submit everything all in one file, that's fine. The discussion board lets you do that. You can submit more than once. Okay. All right. So I do want to show you guys real quick some examples. So let me get back over here for a minute so I can show you guys. Let's see. All right, I'm going to share my screen with you so that you can see. Okay, can everybody see my desktop screen? I hope everybody can see that. Let me make sure that's what you guys are looking at. Okay, great. Yeah, you guys should all be able to see my desktop. So I have some examples I'm going to show you. Here's an example of a week 1 discussion post that a previous student did. She submitted her answers to the questions, and then she also submitted her 2 quests, all within a Microsoft Word document. So she put in, for her week 1 discussion, she chose the 2 quests she chose to do were the weekly plan quest and then the play personality quest. So question 2, remember, asked you to describe your quest choices. So she did that. Question 3, remember, asks you to apply what you read to your quests. So she talked about how her weekly plan connected back to some of the reading concepts from week 1. Same thing for her play personality quest. She talked about the different play personalities that she felt best represented her. Question 4, remember, asks you to tell us how your quest sparked creativity for you. She talked about that. And then question 5, remember, just asks you to submit your quests. So she's got her answers to her discussion questions. For quest 4, her play personality crest, she chose to do a hand-drawn one. Your crest really can look however you want it to. As long as your play personalities are on there somewhere, that's fine. Okay, so she chose to do a hand-drawn one, and then she just took a picture of it and submitted that. So her 3 play personalities were the artist creator, the storyteller, and the explorer. She felt that she enjoys writing and making art and also going on trips. So she felt that those 3 personalities best reflected hers. So she just created a simple crest of each of those along with little images to represent them. And that was for quest 4, the play personality crest. And then down here is her weekly plan. I'm sorry, I cut off her questions at the bottom, but remember the plan does have those questions at the bottom to answer. But this just gives you an idea of what a plan might look like for her. She mapped out her work daily priorities. She told us what she wanted to do for play. She talked about her fit wellness activities, right? Remember, that is anything that can contribute to your mental or physical fitness in some way, your wellness. And then for her push category, she included those activities that she felt were going to push her out of her comfort zone and contribute to her growth in some way. Okay, so that's an example of what the weekly plan might look like. Obviously, it's very personalized. So yours may include totally different activities, which is fine. So we just want it to be a reflection of you, right? Of what you want to do that week, what your week might look like, what are maybe some new things you want to try based on the idea that this plan is kind of a new activity for most of you. But again, that's an example of what a 1.5 assignment might look like. Let's say you chose to do the creative space quest. So here I have a student who decided to do creative space. So he chose his before image, which is an empty desk. And then here's his after image, where he created a really more kind of exciting looking workspace for himself, right? With some inspirational things. Okay. Another example of the creative space quest that I had a student do. Here's one. She started literally with a blank slate. And then her after image, she added her computer, her laptop, and then she added some fun elements that kind of represent her interests, right? And you can tell she's into photography, right? Because her cameras are there. Another one, another option is for you to do a virtual creative space. Let's say you want to do a creative space, but maybe you don't have the room in your current living environment to do so. So the student created a virtual one, and she included specific things that sort of represent her interests and what her ideal workspace would look like. Okay. That's quest 1. Quest 2, I think this is the same example. No, this is a different example. Okay. This is another weekly plan that another student did where they included their weekly activities. Javier, I'm not sure what she used for that virtual creative space, to be honest. There are tons of apps out there to use, and I'm not sure what she used. I wish I knew. Here's another example of a weekly plan. You can tell the student answered her questions at the bottom. She identifies as sort of an early bird, a lark, and then she talked about the activities that she's going to focus on each part of her day. Okay. And if you play video games 4 days a week, that's fine. You can include that. All right. The third quest choice, to find a mentor. Some students are interested in what that might look like. Here's an example that a student created in Microsoft Word, I believe. They just pulled in some text, they pulled in some images, and I believe they created this in a Microsoft Word document. This student chose Kevin Hart, you know, because he's funny. And she told us a little bit about him and sort of how he inspired her in her industry. Okay. And I won't read you what they wrote, but I just wanted to kind of give you an idea.
I have a question.
Yes.
Does your mentor have to be a living, actual person, or can it be a character or a video game character?
Oh, that's a good question. It should be an actual living person. I mean, it should be an actual person. They can be dead or living, if that makes sense. But you might want to double check with your instructor, because for the most part, we want to see an actual person in your industry as opposed to maybe a character, if that makes sense. But I would say this, ask your instructor, because if it's something that has truly inspired you to choose the path you're on, then, I would ask, if that makes sense, just to double check.
Okay, thank you.
Quick question.
Yes.
In creative presentation, we had to do one on what is it? The Hall of Famers, the inductees for the Hall of Fame. And I did one on one that was actually inducted who did the same degree as I am. And it really saw where she went with hers. Is that okay? I mean, don't really know much about her, can't really find much, but I know what I know.
Okay, yeah, that would be perfect. Yeah, a Hall of Famer. Yeah, that's great. And if you, you may be able to Google a little bit and find out more about her, but yeah, if it's somebody who who kind of inspires you, definitely, and you really like her work, I think that's fine. Yeah. Another example, this student did her mentor quest is a PowerPoint presentation, and each slide she just included a different information about her mentor, but this was done on PowerPoint. So however you want to present it is fine, as long as you tell us about your mentor and how they inspired you and the obstacles they overcame and all of that. It's fine however you want to present that. At another student who did a PowerPoint one, he chose Charlie Chaplin. This was a film student, and he just really liked Chaplin's work. And obviously Charlie Chaplin's not alive, but I mean, that's perfectly fine. And he talked a lot about how he inspired him as a film student. Another final example for mentor quest. I want to say this one was also done on perhaps Microsoft Word. This student did somebody in the music industry. He told us a little bit about this person, obstacles he overcame, and basically how this individual inspired him in his industry. Okay. Emmanuel, did you have your hand up? I want to be sure I answer everybody's questions.
Yeah, I was just wondering if sources need to be cited.
I usually ask students just on the very last slide, you can include any images or wherever you got your sources from.
Okay.
Quest 4, the play personality. If you choose this one, again, remember it asks you to just create a crest that represents your different play personalities. This is one that a student chose, and I think she used an app from the iStore called Logo, if I remember correctly. She just happened to find an app that helped her pull in images and create a crest. And she chose the director, the competitor, and the explorer because she felt that these 3 play personalities really reflected her interests. So she did a digital one. Here is the hand-drawn one I just showed you a minute ago that my student did. You are welcome to hand draw a crest if you want. It does not have to be digital. Here's one that a student who was a tattoo artist, he sketched a tattoo of his 3 personalities, the director, the storyteller, and the artist creator. Another example, I had a student actually paint a piece of wood. She painted her crest on a piece of wood. She was the artist creator and the storyteller. So she made her crest on wood. And then Another digital example, this student identified as artist, creator, competitor, and kinesthetic. And I have no idea how he created this, but he was a graphic design artist. And Justin wants to ask, what if they are a criminal? Well, who are you going to do? Can you tell us? I'm just curious, to be honest. I mean, I guess you could do somebody who's a criminal, but I don't. All right. So just to go back to this first example I showed you, obviously you would include on the discussion board, you would include your answers to the questions, and then you would include the 2 quests you chose, whether it was the creative space, the weekly plan, the mentor quest, or the play personality quest. Just remember, you have to choose 2 of those. Justin, I don't know who Kevin Mitnick is. I mean, you could ask. I mean, I guess a criminal would be fair game. Could you include something about how you would try to avoid that particular pitfall of not becoming? Oh, he's a hacker. Okay. Are you in cybersecurity? That might be. Yeah.
Yes, I am.
Okay. Justin, I think that's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, he's obviously inspired you in some way. So yeah, just tell us about that. All right. So don't forget, let me go back to the platform for just a minute, okay? All right, so we're back on the platform here. So don't forget, you're gonna choose your 2 quests, right? By coming to this chart, you'll choose your 2 quests to complete, save them somewhere on your device. And you're going to answer these 3 questions, right? Questions 2 through 4 are the ones that require a response. And then you're going to submit both your answers and your questions onto the discussion board. And then by Sunday, you need to go back and have responded to 2 classmates, okay? And let me tell you what I encourage students to do. There's a little bit here on how to respond to your classmates. You don't just want to say like, hey man, that was a great post, or wow, your crest is awesome. You want to go a little bit beyond that. You know, comment on something meaningful, ask that person a question, because this is really where you guys get to interact with each other, right? Outside of these sessions, okay? The final thing I want to mention is we have a grading rubric for this assignment, and it's in the directions. If you scroll down to the bottom, you'll see it. So it's right above where you're going to post. You'll see this rubric. And the reason I want to point this out to students is that please, please don't ignore the rubric. This is how your assignment will be graded. And a lot of times students will think they've submitted everything, but inevitably they've forgotten something and it's reflected in their grade. So please, please read this rubric, because this spells out exactly how to get 100% on this assignment. You want to make your post on time, right? You want to submit your assignment on time. Don't be late, because you get docked points if it's late. You want to be sure that you have answered where it says initial post completion. You've answered all of the questions. Remember those 3 questions I told you that require an actual response? You need to have answered all of those. And they need to be thorough, right? You can't just give a couple of sentences, right? Concept application. This is worth 20 points. In question 3, right? If I go back up here to question 3, scroll back up. Did you specifically identify concepts from the reading material that your quests connect to, right? You want to be sure you've identified and applied 2 concepts, okay? Quest deliverables. Did you actually complete 2 quests and submit those, okay? If you did the creative space and the weekly plan, did you submit images of your space? Did you submit a weekly plan? Because if you didn't submit those, then you won't get credit for those. Response posts. Did you go back and reply to at least 2 classmates? You can reply to more than 2 classmates, but you have to interact with at least 2 classmates on the discussion board, because you get points for that. Did you give your post, your assignment, a good proofread to make sure your sentences are grammatically correct? That, all that good stuff. We're not completely, I mean, if you misspell 1 word, you're not going to, lose 10 points, but if we're having trouble reading your post and making sense of it, you might get docked points for that, okay? So please, please, before you post your work, make sure you've read through the rubric, okay? Because that's super important. Another thing I encourage students to do, let's say I've submitted my work and then I hit the post button, okay? I want you to come down to this button that says go to discussion. Because what this does is this actually takes you to the discussion board itself so you can see what your work looks like to the other students. You can see what your work looks like. A lot of times students will, they'll hit this post button at the bottom, blah, 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 here's my post, submit it, but then they never go back and check to see what it looks like. And there's been cases where maybe a file didn't make it. So I always encourage students, go to the discussion board itself to see that your work is there as you intended it to be and everybody can read it, okay? There's been a couple instances where a student will hit post, but then they don't go back to the board to check to see that it's there, okay? Does that make sense? Okay, so any questions about any of your assignments this week? Remember, in this class, you have 2 graded assignments. You've got your call to play, you get points for that, and you've got the 1.5 discussion, where you have to submit your assignment and then you have to respond to your classmates. These 2 activities, 1.2 and 1.5, are the ones you're graded on, okay? We don't dock students points if they don't attend the lecture. We don't dock students points if they don't do the readings. So if you forget to check that off, you're not going to lose points. Obviously, we want you to do the readings, and it would be really hard to complete the assignment without having done the readings. So we just assume you do the readings, right? But again, the only things you're graded on are the 1.2 and the 1.5 each week. The very last section, the very last activity you see is bonus material. It's not required that you complete this. If it's something you want to do, that's perfectly fine. It just includes some supplemental articles, and some of them are really interesting. So again, not required, but if that's something you want to make time for during the week, feel free to do so, okay? And the platform's having trouble for whatever reason. I don't know what's going on here, but anyway, that's what the bonus material looks like. It's just links to different articles and readings, and just something extra if you have time for it. Okay, so again, week 1, I've laid out all the activities for you in the order that you really need to do them. If I scroll down to week 2, which again, all 4 weeks are open, the layout is exactly the same. You have your week 2 live lecture, you have your week 2 call to play questions, you have your readings for week 2, and then you have your week 2 discussion. And next week you get access, well, you have access now to it, but next week for week 2, you have a whole set of different quests to choose from, okay? So the quests differ from week to week, so you don't have the same choices that you have to choose from. You get options of different quests, okay? But each one tie into how you play in some way. So that's kind of the neat aspect of this assignment for me, is that we sort of give you a choice, but that they all sort of tie back to playing in some way. Anthony, I think you had your hand up.
Yes, I did. And this is a little bit off topic, but when I was going over the get to know your instructor and everything yesterday, and I know it happened I can't remember what week it was, but I had to go out of town for something, and I couldn't get to my computer to submit assignment, and my phone was having problems with the FSO site, where it wasn't letting me submit something through my phone. Well, I ended up just emailing it to the instructor in case I couldn't get home in time. And I noticed it said, "Oh, don't email you." Well, if that happens where I'm having trouble with the site and I go to email it to you, it's just like to show, hey, look, it's done, it's completed before this time, so I'm not docked late. Is that okay?
Yes, yeah. In fact, that's what I tell students to do. If for some reason you're having an issue with the platform, but you have the assignment, definitely email your instructor. Say, here it is, I've done it. They may, for the 1.5 assignment, since it is discussion based, they may ask you when you're able to actually go post on the board, so that other classmates can see it and respond to you. But yeah, definitely always, if you're having issues, email your instructor, most definitely.
Yeah, I just didn't want to email you an assignment, then you'd be like, "Why are you emailing it to me?" And I'm like, because I'm having problems, and I just want a timestamp showing you it's done before
Yeah.
11:59.
Yeah, and like I said, because everything has to be submitted online, it's an online class. We know things come up. There's technical glitches. It's not a perfect science, right? So yeah, always email your instructor. If you've done it and you're just, for whatever reason, it's not loading or submitting on the site, you can just email your instructor, say, hey, here it is, I did it. Yeah, definitely, you did the right thing.
Thank you.
Okay, Vivica has a question about how you can identify your play personality for Quest 4. So let me open that up real quick. Bradley's asking, can you help each other with the quest part? Most of these need to be done on your own. However, in week 3 and week 4, you will actually have an opportunity to do, there's 2 quests that you can do with classmates, kind of like a group project, if you will, a group quest. So you'll have opportunities in weeks 3 and 4 to collaborate with each other on the quests. Okay, that's a good question. All right, let me, yeah. Okay, so if I come back down here to the play personalities, if you are interested in doing Quest 4, where you make that crest of your personalities, we encourage students to take a look at the description for each personality. And then really how you can tie it back best to you is to think about what do you enjoy most? Like how do these different personalities relate to your interests? For example, if you're the kind of person who loves humor, you like to make others laugh, you're always making jokes, maybe you're playing pranks on people, then one of your play personalities might be the Joker, right? This is the ha-ha Joker, not the kind that kills people, by the way. So don't be that kind of Joker. If you're the kind of person who really thrives on traveling, you love to explore new places, you like to explore new ideas, you are just naturally curious about the world around you, chances are you're an explorer, and that might be one of your play personalities. Coming down to the third one, the director. If you're somebody that loves being in charge of things, right? Maybe you enjoy planning events, organizing things, you enjoy being in charge of others, like being a team leader, then you might identify as a director. The artist creator, if you're the kind of person who loves to create, you love to draw, you love to sculpt, you love to create music, because that's a form of creation. Maybe you love to, I think even coding and programming can be an act of creation because you're creating something out of that. You might identify as an artist creator. The kinesthetic is somebody who loves to move. If you're the kind of person who played a bunch of sports as a kid, you always loved being outdoors and moving, you might be a kinesthetic, right? Maybe you're an athlete or a dancer. That's somebody who their preferred form of play involves movement, all right? You're the kinesthetic. If you're the kind of person who is always has to win, wants to be first, loves to compete, that's kind of your dominant personality, then you might be a competitor. For the collector, these are folks who enjoy collecting items. Maybe you have a collection of Funko Pops. Maybe you have a collection of guitar picks or concert tickets. The idea behind that is that the collection means something to you, and you go to great lengths perhaps to enhance your collection. You might be the collector. The last play personality is a storyteller. That is the person who loves to tell stories, whether it's through the actual act of creative writing. Maybe you enjoy writing stories or poetry. It could be through song. Maybe you're a lyricist. It could be through art, because you don't need words to tell a story, right? If you've ever looked at a painting and felt a certain emotion while looking at that painting, then that artist accomplished their goal, right? The idea is you're telling something through that medium, all right? Now, I will say this, most students identify as one or more of these personalities. You might have one that is sort of your dominant play personality, but I find that most students have 2 or 3 that they feel best reflect their interests. So if you have 4, that's fine. Again, it's a very personal concept. So I encourage students to really kind of read through it, think about what you enjoy doing, think about your activities, your interests, think about your degree program, maybe, and how that ties in with these personalities. And then that can be then what you base your crest on, right? You'll sort of incorporate those personalities into your crest, maybe find an image that reflects each for you. And that'll be your quest for that one, okay? So again, the readings I feel like are pretty, they're not hard, not super challenging. When you're going through the readings, you should come away with a good understanding of that concept. But if there's ever a concept that you're not sure about, maybe it's the weekly plan idea. You're like, I don't know what I'm supposed to put here. Just reach out to us, let us know, say, hey, am I on the right track with this? What is temptation bundling, right? We go into that. What's time batching? What is peak performance? So like I said, if after reading through there's ever a concept you're unclear on, just, reach out to the instructor. Okay. I think somebody had their hand raised. Calpurnia, did you have a question?
Yes, I do. I was going to ask you for the first class, I believe is the workspace. You said we can do a video for that, right?
Yes, for the creative space. Yep, you can do a video for that one. I've had students who do like a time lapse of them putting together their workspace. Like they'll set up a camera and then film themselves putting it together. That's perfectly fine. You can do a video. You can do, again, a virtual workspace for that one as well. So yeah, images or video are fine for that one. And the idea really behind that quest is to create kind of an inspiring space for you. So we should be able to see elements of you in that space. Does that make sense? Okay, somebody else has a question?
Yes, with the what if it's like a picture of like a workspace you've seen? Like I've seen this gaming chair where it has like the chair moves when you play the video games and you have like multiple monitors, and like what if you want to use that as a picture? Because that's like a dream setup that I want.
Okay, yeah, that would work. So like an example of what your ideal.
And then like for I'll use like the setup I have now versus what my goal is.
Yeah, that would be
correct.
Correct. Yeah. I'll have students
Okay.
who, yeah, Anthony, that's good. I'll have students who have like a vision of their space, but maybe they don't have all the elements yet to make that space, but they'll pull in pictures and images. So that's fine. And I've actually had students who've created, if they choose the virtual space, I had a student who made a virtual space in The Sims, like literally a virtual room in The Sims. And that's what they submitted. And they put in, of course, all the elements that they would have in their real life creative space, but they were able to sort of use their imagination a little bit, right? Since it was a virtual creation. You guys are asking awesome questions. Any other questions about the assignments or quests or course content for this week? And like I said, weeks 2, 3, and 4 are laid out very similar. You'll have your live lecture on Tuesday. You'll have your call to play questions that are due. And again, remember, that's just basically a survey question and answer response from you. You don't have to have read week 2 yet for that. And then you'll come to your readings. You'll read about what we're covering in week 2, and then you'll use that to create your your week 2 discussion and your 2 quests for that one. Okay. And like I said, weeks 3 and 4, which you have access to, so you guys are welcome to look ahead. There is an option in week 3, the quests you will do for that, you will be able to connect with classmates for that one. Yeah, quest 4 in week 3 asks you to get together with some of your classmates and play a game together outside of the class setting. So will give you an opportunity to get together with your classmates And then in week 3, you actually have a 5th choice. You can get together with some of your classmates and do an audio or video pep talk where you're giving tips to future students here at Full Sail. So that's all in week 3 though, okay? So you do have access to all 4 weeks, but keep in mind, I encourage students, if time is an issue for you, which it is for all of us, just focus on week 1 this week. Go through the module as it's laid out, complete all your assignments, your activities, your readings, and then make sure that you've submitted everything for your 1.5 discussion assignment, okay? You guys are super, super on it, right? Well, I hope that explanation and those examples, I hope those were helpful. They made sense a little bit. I will tell you this, I like to share examples each week for the different quests. So if you get to week 2 and you're unsure about what a quest is really asking for, like, okay, well, I get the weekly plan, but what about this other one? Just reach out to your instructor. Say, hey, I'm not sure. I want to do this quest, but I'm not sure when I'm supposed to submit for it. Can you give me some ideas? Okay. Okay, Calpurnia has a question, and then I believe Jasmine has a question. Yes. Calpurnia, you had a question? And you can always type it in the chat box if you need to, okay? All right. Miss Jasmine, I see your hand is up next. What's your question?
Can you hear me? Oh,
yes.
California asked her question. I'll let her finish up.
Oh, okay, for the discussion, do we answer everything or just the discussion post questions? Let me get out of here real quick. Calpurnia, you're going to answer all of the questions in the directions for that assignment. So let me go back to the platform real quick. So if I click on the discussion, so question 1 is completing the 2 quests. So you're going to complete those and submit those. And then you want to answer questions 2, 3, and 4 in your discussion post because those require response. And then questions 5 and 6 aren't really questions. Question 5 is just telling you to submit your, make sure you submit everything on the discussion board. And then, for the student responses. Gotcha. Okay. For the student responses, when you're responding to your 2 classmates on the discussion board, we encourage you guys to use the RISE model, which you may be familiar with. We don't require it though. The only thing we require when you're responding to your classmates on the board is make sure your feedback is meaningful, right? We want it to be a couple of, at least, I ask for at least 3 to 4 detailed sentences, 5 to 6. You want to talk about what you enjoyed about their post, what you found meaningful about it, maybe something you found relevant to your own experience. Ask them a question. Maybe you want to know more about their mentor, or maybe you want to, their post inspired you to have more questions for them. So you want to make the feedback meaningful if that helps. But outside of what's here in the directions, that's really all we ask for. Did that answer, Calpurnia? Did that answer your questions? Okay, awesome. All right. Jasmine, I think you had a question as well.
Yes, can you hear me all right?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great. It wasn't much of a question. It was just kind of free information for anyone. I created a Discord last class. So if anybody needs help or just kind of want to get inspired or network or collaborate, I posted the link in the chat. So you guys are more than welcome to click it and we can all start working together.
Awesome. And there it is. Thank you, Jasmine. I appreciate that.
No problem.
I also do want to tell you guys there is a Psychology of Play Discord. And let me share that with you real quick. I'll share that with you guys real quick. Hang on, let me get this opened up here. Okay, I haven't been on Discord in a while. Okay, where are you? Where are you? It is what it is. Is this it? No, that's not the one. Hang on. This is it. Okay. I think this is it. Okay, yeah. So let me go ahead and post a link to this. This is a psychology of play server setup. Oh God, get me out of here. All right, how do I invite people to this?
There's a share button that you can click on or invite your friends.
There we go. All right. So I'm going to edit this so that it doesn't expire. All right, here we go. Let me pop this in the chat. So this is a full sail psychology of play server that was started by one of our instructors last year. And so most of the students in this Discord are previous psychology of play students. They're probably further along in their program, but we invite new students every month to it. And it gives you guys a good opportunity. You can come to this Discord and say, hey, you know, since you took this class, what do I need to do, or what are the instructors looking for? It's monitored loosely, I will say, by the instructors, but we do pop in there every now and then in case a student has a question. But definitely a great place to connect with former and current psychology of play students. Okay. And then, of course, Jasmine shared a link up there as well. So all of these are great resources to use, especially when we get to weeks 3 and 4 and you have the opportunity to work together with each other on some of the quests. You guys can use sort of Discord as a place to connect. Okay. All right. Any other questions? Was this kind of helpful, this little brief overview, layout, introduction to the class?
Yeah, it definitely made everything more clear to understand moving forward within the week. So thank you.
Oh, good. I'm glad. I know it was like the first week is always really information heavy, just because it's a new class, and I just really want it. My goal is to really make sure that students understand, you know, what is this class about? What are we doing? Because it's all a new experience. So weeks 2, 3, and 4, you guys definitely have more of a chance to delve into the reading material and really explore some of the concepts. So I know week 1 is obviously a little bit different in that regard, but and Mitchell, that's fine. If you have questions after this session, because that always happens to me, I'll think I have everything together, and then like the next day I'm like, oh my God, I totally have questions about this stuff. We're here for you. Reach out to us. Let us know. In my contact information, I have a Google text number that students can text me at, and I'll answer. I can also, obviously you can reach us all on the platform or through email, and we respond as quickly as we can. Okay. So I did just want to mention a couple of other things real quick. We do have a syllabus for the class. It's not a syllabus with dates and assignments on them. It's basically just an overview of the class. But if you're on the platform and you click the About section, there's a little About tab that will pull up this syllabus. And it's just kind of neat because it basically gives you this brief 1-page description of what the class is all about. And then it kind of breaks down each week what we're going to be covering. So you don't have to read the syllabus, but I think it's interesting because it helps you give you an idea of what we're going to be doing every week. Okay. Again, just to reiterate what the class structure is, you have the 2 graded assignments that I talked about that are due each week, right? The ones here highlighted in orange. You've got the call to play due Tuesday. You've got your weekly discussion assignment. The other 3 things, the weekly readings, the Zoom sessions, and the bonus material are not graded or required. But remember, you have until Sunday to access all of that, right? So all of week 1 will close this following Sunday at midnight. Like Cinderella, it all goes back to from being a carriage to a pumpkin. I don't know. That's a horrible metaphor, but you guys know what I mean. So just a couple things I want to draw your attention to before we sort of wrap up. A lot of students question why they're in this class, why they're learning about play. And one of the things I just try to stress is that this month is all about discovering what play is for you and how it connects to your industries, right? Because every industry here at Full Sail is reflective of some type of way we play as a culture, right? Whether it's video games, whether it's music, whether it's movies, whether it's sports, whether it's graphic design, art, all of that is related to how we play as a society and a culture. And, you know, even Einstein said that play really is the highest form of research. So I would just sort of invite you guys to think about this month, how play connects to not just your personal lives, but your professional lives as well, right? I know for me, and this is going to sound totally nerdy, but one of the things I actually liked to do when I was younger, one of the ways that I played as a kid was I loved to play school, where I would be the teacher and my brothers would be the students. And I know this sounds completely dorky, but I would like make up little assignments for them, you know, put them in detention. No, I'm kidding, I didn't do that. But it's interesting to think about how a lot of the activities I liked as a kid sort of have carried over into my adult life. And it's very interesting to reflect on that. So I would just invite you guys to sort of broaden your perspective on play this month. Think about how it connects to your personal lives, your professional lives. If you have little people in your life, if you guys have kids, how do they play? It's very interesting to see how that sort of evolves as kids get older, I think. So yeah, Chris says he played soldier and he ended up joining the Army. My brother played a lot of Army stuff when he was younger and he joined the Navy. So yeah, kind of interesting to think about that. Anthony?
Actually, you said, I was just thinking about that. I used to play with like Legos, creating like towns and cities and amusement parks, and I would I wouldn't buy like the set of like a piece that made like a spaceship. You know, they have all these little ones that build houses and ones that build farms. I would actually take individual pieces and use my own mind. And now I'm going for like game art and which covers graphic design and animation and then game design. And I was all like thinking about that. And then ended up in the construction industry because where I work, I deliver steel for a steel supply company. And I'm all like, wow, what you do as a kid really makes your life.
Yeah, it's very interesting. In fact, what part of the readings this week actually talk about, you know, thinking about how the activities and things you enjoyed as a kid kind of carry over into your adult life, right? And to me, it also helps us see how technology evolves as we play. You know, my first gaming console was an Atari 2600. There were literally like two directions you could go. And now you've got virtual worlds that you can explore. And to me, it's just amazing how technology evolves alongside our play. And it just makes me wonder, you know, what is the future going to hold, right? So it's kind of cool to think about, right? All right, my friends, we are sort of at the end of our session. It's 2:55. So I'm going to sort of leave this last 5 minutes to answer any further questions you all might have. This session was recorded, so if you had to leave early, well, obviously if you left early, you're not here. But if you hopped in late or whatever, you can go back and watch from the beginning if you need to. And if you need to come back later and revisit it, again, this lecture will be posted in the live lecture activity this week, so you guys will have access to it, okay? But I'm going to stick around for a few minutes to finish answering questions, but I want to respect everyone's time. So if you all need to take off, that's fine. If you have a question and want to hang back for a minute, that's fine as well. Otherwise, I would just say thank you for being here today. It was really nice to meet all of you and get to know a little more about you all. And you're just a fun group of students, and I'm just super excited about this month. And I know it's going to be an amazing learning experience for everyone. So take care. Enjoy your first week, enjoy the class, and please reach out to us if you have any questions, okay? And like I said, if your question had been answered, you are free to just close out the window and take off. Happy New Year to you guys as well. Yeah. And I will hang back here for those who have questions. Okay. Bye, folks. Thanks for being here. Lily, you have a question? You can unmute yourself.
Yes. Okay. Actually, it's more like all right. So I am actually finna get ready and have a baby. And that's what I was about to ask about. You're not my instructor, but you know, I still need to just get now. So would I just talk to my instructor about it, or?
Yeah. First of all, congratulations. That's awesome. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would just let your instructor know if it's this month, which it sounds like it is. Yeah, just definitely touch base with them. Let them know, hey, here's what's happening, and they can help kind of work out a plan with you for how to handle that. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Have a good one and Happy New Year.
You too. Happy New Year. I'm going to be optimistic. This is going to be a good year. Right? You got to be optimistic. All right, for those of you taking off, bye. Thank you so much for being here. And enjoy the rest of your Tuesday.
Bye. So nice to meet you.
Bye, Jasmine. You as well. Enjoy your first week of class and have a wonderful month.
Thank you.
All right, we still have a few folks left in here. So if you all have any questions, please feel free to ask them out loud. You can type them in the chat. We've got a couple more minutes here before we have to wrap up. All right, no more questions? All right, bye, Jerry. See you later. Bye, guys. All right, if we don't have any more questions, I will go ahead and close out our session. So I just want to thank you guys for being here. And like I said, it was wonderful to get to meet everyone today and get to know you guys a little bit better. And just have a wonderful time in the class this month. And if any point you have questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us, okay? All right, bye, folks.